Tim?
Restate the number of acres.
Oh, it is
6,000, yeah, it's not, it's supposed,
it's 6.88 acres.
oh, not 6,088. Okay, 6.88 acres.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We good, Natalie? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Really appreciate your time coming in for this short special meeting. We have an opportunity, and so the time frame is short, and so that's why we had to call this special meeting. So this is the area, and I'm just gonna, I think I have this thing. So it's not really showing very well, but this green square right here along Imperial Boulevard across from Overture is the 6.88 acres. It is adjacent to Constellation Field, our AAA baseball stadium. So this parcel and much of the property in the Imperial area has recently come under new ownership. And because of that, we have an opportunity to purchase this property. We have been, I'll go to the next slide. We've been using this lot actually as temporary parking for Constellation Field for several years. We actually call it Lot C. So the paved area is Lot A. The other paved area on the other side of the creek is Lot B. And we always have called this Lot C. And we've had a temporary parking agreement on this parcel for several years that has been used. Now, as we are now the AAA affiliate of the Astros, the need for that is even greater as we have the Astros players come from time to time to rehab, as well as other special events that are coming up. But more importantly, because of the new ownership, we have this opportunity to acquire this property, and the purchase would allow us, the city, to control the land around this asset, our destination venue. So in the short term, the opportunities are for continued temporary parking, but in the long term, due to the adjacency to the Constellation Field, we felt as staff that it was very important that we control this piece of property and future development on it. And there could be many future long-term development opportunities on the site. We have negotiated with the owner a purchase amount of $3.596, which is about $12 a square foot. And so our SL4B funding request is for 3.6. And so this is the purchase price plus an estimated 1% closing cost. So we're estimating that the closing cost is going to be about 1%. And so that's how we got to that figure. The Constellation Field was originally built for those that don't know, was built with 4B dollars. So originally it was $30 million of 4B funds, $6 million of private equity. And then when we did do the AAA affiliate, when we became that, we did put an additional 10 million that is paid over a 5-year period with the Astros for upgrades that have been done to the stadium. And they've actually completed all of those upgrades in a much shorter time frame, but we are still paying it out on a 5-year time frame. So the item today is a funding request, so a funding resolution, which requires a public hearing, but also a budget amendment. And so what we are asking for is to take the funds from our ending fund balance, so the 3.6 from the ending fund balance. And so you'll see that here. The little dot thing is not working, but so you'll see that here in the middle column for land acquisition of pulling that 3.63 from the ending fund balance. It still leaves us with an ending balance of 8.96. And just a note that a CIP project will be created as part of this to complete the acquisition process. And so basically, that's it. And our staff recommendation is to approve the funding resolution SL4B R2310 for the purchase of the 6.88 acres of the land adjacent to Constellation Field and authorization of a budget amendment in the amount of 3.6.
Tim, could you go back to the slide previous?
Yes.
Quick question.
Oh,
no, that was correct. So we're going to spend another 3.6 million, but we haven't really changed the overall ending balance. It's just not obvious to me real quick why that occurs.
So the ending balance rate is the 12.59.
Oh, okay, I got it. I was looking at.
3.6 is what
budget.
we're pulling from the ending fund balance for at
Okay, I got it,
8.96.
got it.
Now, in the agenda item, I put 10.88 was our ending fund balance. When finance updated this slide yesterday, we recently closed the books for FY22. And so they did this as of the most current numbers. So our sales tax numbers are coming in higher. And so that's why it's 12.59, not the 10.88. So
Great.
basically, we're having a higher sales tax numbers that are coming in. A lot of that is attributed to inflation. And so that's why there's the difference in the ending balance from what was in the agenda item.
Thank you.
Oh,
Since we provide the parking.
oh, wait, Shay.
Sorry, technically, before we go any further, can we go ahead and open and close the public hearing
Sure.
portion?
Amy, could you open the public hearing, please?
Yep, just a second. I'm on a little laptop and have to switch. So, okay. Now would like to open the public hearing at 4:54 p.m. Is there anyone that is here to speak on this item?
No, we do not have anybody.
Okay, so we will close the public hearing at 4:54 p.m. Now, consideration of an action on Sugarland 4B Corporation Resolution SL4B-R-23-10, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Sugarland 4B Corporation approving a request by the City of Sugarland to fund the purchase of 6.88 acres of land adjacent to Constellation Field and authorization of a budget amendment of amount 3.63 million from the Sugarland 4B Corporation to revenues and expenditures. Do we have any further questions for Devin?
Yes, so since we provide the parking and they charge for parking, does the city get any share of the parking revenue above a certain threshold or any percentage?
So our lease does not require that we have a share of the parking revenues. That is how the lease is set up for the Smart Financial Center, but is not how the lease is set up for Constellation Field. For Constellation Field, there's a base rent, which includes the parking area. And then we have what was called participation rent. And so that is based off of a formula of the number of tickets sold, naming rights, those types of categories. And then it has to hit a certain threshold, and then we receive a percentage of that.
Okay, very good. But I have parked in this lot twice in the past 2 weeks. Let's see. So
No, I have a question. If you can go back on the slide, I was just more of a technical term. I was just. When you say a CIP project, CIP acronym.
Oh, capital improvement project. So just
I use
it's all,
different
it's the
acronyms
tech,
and
it's
okay.
the, I'm doing what I'm told by our finance department of saying all the actions that are going to be taken. So this is a funding resolution and a budget amendment. This item is going to be going forward to city council for city council to consider the purchase of the property. And the purchase will be made through the CIP process is how we're going to be moving the money from 4B into CIP to make the purchase eventually.
And then, I mean, I'm new here, so is there any other projects we were looking to use this type of money for, or is this really funds that are there to use in this type of situation?
So we actually have in the 4B budget a line item for reserve for opportunity. That is about 3 million, I believe. We chose not to request that money from the reserve for opportunity in order to make that still accessible for a project that might be coming forward later this year. So there is still the reserve for opportunity line item because of the processes and that needs to take place. Since we're going to have to go to city council anyways, it made sense to do a budget amendment since that'll have to go to city council as well. So we still do have our reserve for opportunity that we are reserving for a possible future project this year. And of course, we still have remaining fund balance.
Thank you.
and this is well above our minimum for the required minimum fund balance, right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yes.
Devin, just curious, normally when real estate, land, houses, whatever are purchased, the seller pays the closing cost. Why are we paying the 1%, or are we just, is it just part of to try to get the land? I'm just asking that question.
Brian, could you help me with answering that? So Brian Norton, who's our right-of-way manager, is going to help me with that question.
Okay.
Real estate Manager.
Typically with city or government acquisitions, the government agency always pays closing costs.
Okay,
Saves time, and the seller doesn't, we try to put as the least amount of bearing on the seller because of the process. So
Mhm.
we just wind up closing it ourselves.
okay, and I mean, 1% is lower. What is the average cost per square foot in the area, or do we have anything to compare it to?
Yeah, we have some,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and answer it. We have some appraisals that we've done in the area. The average cost ranges from anywhere from $14 to $18 per square foot. So we're actually coming in up under that number.
Okay, well, that's helpful. Those were my two main questions.
Any other questions?
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve? And I can't really see you guys very well, so I think I recognize the voices, so whoever speaks up.
Motion to approve. Second,
Okay, so I thought Carol to approve,
Jennifer.
or
Jennifer,
Jennifer to
Jennifer
approve and
made the
Carol.
motion. Mhm.
Yeah, Jennifer made the motion and Carol to approve. Kurt,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
and Jennifer.
Yes.
And I approve. So the item is approved unanimously. Well done, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Amy.
Sure. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I don't know how you guys find this. Right, so Carol's